Friends, today we shall discuss knowledge. As we all know, knowledge is the ornament of a person. A man is none by his knowledge. Without knowledge, a man is equal to animal. In Gita, verse 4.33, Lord says, Seyam dravymayad yagyat ज्ञान यज्ञ परम तप सर्वम कर्म अखिलम पार्थ ज्ञाने परिसमाप्यते. Sacrifice performed in knowledge is superior to any other material sacrifice, and all works finally culminate in knowledge. In verse 36 he says, Api chedasi papebhya sarvebhya papkritamah Sarvam Gyan Plavenaiva Brajinam Santarisyati. Even those who are considered the most immoral of all sinners can cross over this ocean of material existence by seating themselves in the boat of knowledge. In next verse he says, Yatho dhansi samidhogni bhasmasat kurte arjuna jnanagni sarv karmani bhasmasat kurte tatha. As a kindled fire reduces wood to ashes, O Arjun, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions from material activities. Yet in another verse he says, Nahi jnanena sadrisam pavitram vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddha kalenatmati bindati. There is nothing as purifying as knowledge in this world, and this knowledge appears itself in due course of time as a result of successful practice of yoga. As we have seen, knowledge has a very high position in this world. However, in Isa Upanishad, Mantra 9, it is said, Andhar Tama Pravisanti Ye Avidyam Upasate Tato Bhuy Ite Tamo Uvidyamrata. They who worship avidya, that is ignorance, fall into blind darkness, and they who worship vidya, that is knowledge, fall into greater darkness. Now, how it is possible that one engaged in acquisition of knowledge moves into greater darkness than that of the ignorant? It says that a man of knowledge becomes even more miserable than the ignorant. How? Let us examine. In the above verse 36.4 of Gita, Lord used the word Gyan Plavenaiva, that is boat of knowledge. Knowledge is here treated as a boat. As a boat is used to cross the river, so knowledge helps a man to cross over this world of uncertainties. So, knowledge is only an instrument. Just as boat helps one to cross the river, a bridge helps one to cross the river, a torch helps one to cross the darkness. In the same way, knowledge helps one to cross over the immediate problem. And just as after crossing river, one does not remain sitting over the boat or sitting on the bridge, or even after crossing over darkness, one does not keep the torch. In the same way, knowledge has also to be abandoned. A man of having no boat or no knowledge has no clue how to cross the river. But a man having boat to cross the river, if remains sitting on the boat even after crossing the river, it shall be more foolish than that of the man having no boat. A man having no boat can take help of the man with boat and reach his destinations. But the man having boat remains in the river helping others to reach their destinations. He himself goes nowhere. Thus, we see that a man with no boat or a man with no knowledge can take help of a man of boat or a man of knowledge. But a man of boat or a man of knowledge do not take even others' help and remain in the river of this world with ego of having boat or having knowledge. Hence it is said that seeker of knowledge moves into greater darkness than that of ignorant. We see that animals have no knowledge and hence they lead a miserable life. They do not have future planning and are left to the fate. But one thing positive in them is that they do not accumulate mental impressions for future. Opposite to animals, humans have knowledge through which they execute their future planning. But the problem is that their knowledge also has its negative effects. In maximum cases, it accumulates mental impressions to be converted into works in the future, thus diminishing the hope of their freedom. One acquiring knowledge tries to preserve it as its integral part, and hence it leads him to greater darkness than the man having no knowledge. Just as knowledge solves one's problem, to the same extent, if misused, it also complicates his problem. Knowledge is the mental impression. This is the third state, deep sleep, of four stages mentioned in Mandukya Upanishad, that is waking, dreaming, deep sleep and consciousness. About this mental impression, that is deep sleep, it is said in Mandukya Upanishad, Es yoni sarvasya prabhava apyavi bhutana, that this is the source of all and this is that from which all things originate and in which they finally disappear. So, knowledge for the sake of knowledge put the man in deeper darkness. Shankaracharya in his book Vivek Chudamani, verse 59 says, Abhigyate pare tattve shastradhitistu nisfala Vigyate api pare tattve shastradhitistu nisfala. Without knowing the supreme reality, a study of Shastra, that is knowledge, is futile. And after knowing the supreme reality, a study of Shastra, that is knowledge, is futile. For example, I have a torch and I do not know how to use it for removing darkness. So it is of no use to me. And after crossing over the darkness, also this torch is of no use to me. Hence, knowledge, if preserved only for the sake of knowledge, it only increases ego of the knower. Hence, certainly he will go to a deeper darkness than the ignorant one. Isa Upanishad Mantra 11 says, Vidyam so avidyam so yastu ved uvyam sah avidya mrityum tirtva vidya amritamastude. He who simultaneously knows Vidya and Avidya gets over death by avidya and attains immortality by vidya. Here comes the simultaneous practice of three sides of golden triangle. As we discussed in our past talk, avidya, ignorance, that is waking dream state, vidya, mental impression, that is deep sleep state, when connected together in the active presence of consciousness, as advised by Guru Vasistha and indicated in Prashna Upanishad, salvation takes place. Swami Vidyaranya calls it knowledge of knowledge. In Panchadasi, verse 8.4, he says, घटैकाकार धीस्था चिद्घट मेवावभासयेत घटस्य ज्ञातता ब्रह्म चैतन्य नावभासते. An external object such as a pot is cognized through the vrittis, modification of intellect, assuming its form, but the knowledge, I know the pot, comes directly through the pure consciousness, Brahman. He says that there are two knowledges. First, the knowledge of the pot, and second, the knowledge of the pot, or the knowledge that I know the pot, the knowledge that I have an idea of the pot. The first knowledge removes my ignorance about the pot. This is the work of vritti. That a thing that was unknown to me up to the last moment became known to me in the next moment. So, knowledge is knowing the thing, and other knowledge is knowing that I know the thing, or I do not know the thing. This second knowledge, that is, I know a particular thing or I do not know that particular thing, is different from knowing that thing and is called knowledge of the knowledge. About this knowledge, Mandukya Karika, verse 3.33 says, Akalpam ajam jnanam geya bhinnam prachakshite Brahmageyam ajam nityam jen ajam vibuddhite. The knowledge which is unborn and free from all imaginations is ever inseparable from the knowable. The immutable and birthless Brahman is the sole object of knowledge. The birthless is known by the birthless. This knowledge of knowledge is the self, consciousness and Brahman, and goal of all living being in this life, which we must pursue, which we must try to know.